Hey everybody, we're back. This is very exciting. The Walking Dead Empires AMA with the developers, us, and I've brought some friends with. We'll go around for introductions real quick here. Brandon, say hello to everybody.
Hey, I'm Brandon Godfrey. I'm the lead game designer on The Walking Dead Empires. And go ahead.
Toss it,
We
Paul.
practice this a
Hello.
lot.
Hi, I'm Paul Sullivan. I'm the combat designer for Walking Dead Empires, and I'm Bal Rouge in Discord.
And Kevin, say hello to everybody.
Hey there, Kevin Page. I'm a senior character concept artist on this project.
Okay, so you will have the four of us for roughly the next hour here. We're going to be answering questions. We've captured a bunch of them over the last few weeks in a document that y'all have been asking on the Discord. And we're going to be live capturing questions on the Discord as well. So head on over to our Gala Games Discord and the TWD Empires discussion. That will be where we'll be checking out questions. So we also have a demo that's happening right now, and we would love to talk about the live demo. Thank you everybody who has played it so far. Lots of people in there, lots of trees being chopped down, lots of bases getting put up, and walkers knocking that down. So yeah, hop into the Discord, ask us some questions. I would love to see some activity in there and be able to answer anything live that's coming up. That being said, let's ask away. So let's start out real quick here with a question to Brandon. Let's go. Will there be any more land sales for the current map, or has all land been sold?
So right now we're sticking with Georgia. So we have a lot of land in Georgia. It hasn't all been sold. It's not up on the market right now, but it will be offered again at some point. But yeah, so that's all the land that we're planning for release.
Okay. There's been a lot of questions around that. Head over to, we have a authenticated OpenSea account. So if you go to OpenSea, you can check out the Walking Dead Empires, and you can find land on there right now. I'm gonna take the next question here. A question coming in: is the game going to be free to play? So yes, the answer is yes on that. There's going to be a lot of land. As you may have noticed, right now we have 9 zones in the current demo. Upcoming, we'll have in the next demo, we're hoping for 81 zones for people to be moving around in. That'll be the size of a county. And then I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Brandon, the full Georgia is 10 counties, right?
That's right. So 810 zones.
That's a lot of...
much bigger. I know it's getting a little crowded there in the demo with the 9 zones, but the land size is increasing. Don't worry.
So we've got a lot of land that we need to cover, and basically by making it free to play, that means that we're going to get a lot of users in there, like we're seeing for the demo. You know, everybody is able to hop in, make it as frictionless as possible to get in to play, and we want all of those people in there playing to fill up the world, maybe a little less than it's currently filled up, but to be able to be in there, to be making the economy hum, to be making, you know, just the world feel alive. So that is yes on that one. The Forecastle Fofo says this demo is great in the Discord. So thank you for participating in the Discord. Let me toss a question over to Paul, our combat designer. Paul, what hooks are the team planning to introduce to ensure an active and vibrant community logging in daily? Are you thinking about daily, weekly tasks for users to complete, to receive rewards, and anything else? It's a lot of questions.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the question. I can be long-winded. You know, it's kind of, as Zach just alluded to, we want the world to feel alive. We want it to feel vibrant, as the question states. So, you know, a lot of things I'm thinking about. Before I came on this project, I worked on an MMO for about 10 years called World of Warcraft, and during that time, we had a lot of repeatable content that we were doing. We want to make sure that I take those lessons forward and kind of bring some of those into the game experience. So, you know, if you really liked coming across the bloated walker in the show, you might experience that in the game. Kind of staying in that same season, Herschel's farm could turn into a dungeon for us. We could have world events of massive hordes of walkers for players to take out. All these things aren't necessarily things that you're going to do every single day. So we can make them more epic, have kind of world events, some dungeons, and then just some more vignette events that players can stumble across and be engaged with. We've been talking a lot about what rewards we want to hook up to those and how often we want to push them to players. So it's definitely something we've been thinking about. And what you're seeing now in the demo does not represent that yet. So be on the lookout for that.
Okay, thank you for the answer there. We have a live question from the Discord from Half Sky. The question right now, so we do have a sale that's coinciding with our live demo. We are selling the Arsenal. It is the fourth, you can correct me if I'm wrong, fourth crafting station. Brandon, what were the other three that we have live right now?
So we have the lab, which is where you'll craft your medical supplies. We have the forge, I believe it is called, or where you'll craft your melee weapons, like your bats and your hatchets and everything.
And then we gave away the cookery, I believe. So
the cookery, yes. We don't have food in the demo right now, but food will play a major part in the game. You'll be crafting a lot of different delectables.
So the Arsenal is our fourth crafting station to come online and being sold right now. You'll be able to craft ranged weapons. In the demo, you've probably noticed that when you craft items and weapons, they're going up to 2 stars. So those are the lowest qualities that you can craft, and you'll be able to go higher when you craft at the stations themselves. So is there anything else you want to talk about the Arsenal?
Yeah, I'm gonna jump ahead of you here because I know I saw someone asking questions about the star ratings that an Arsenal or any of the crafting stations can make, because there's a little bit of confusion around when they see that an ancient and a legendary could both craft up to 4-star. That is the maximum rare or the maximum quality of item it can craft. The ancient would be much higher odds of crafting a 4-star quality, and the legendary would be lower. So even though they both max out at that type, the ancient is still significantly better odds to get it. Also, the Arsenal specific importance, ammo. It's the only place where you're actually going to be able to craft ammo to supply all of your ranged weapons, your guns, etc. So it'll have vital importance. Those of you playing the demo probably see when you're melee fighting with a walker, you'll oftentimes take a little bit of damage. But if you're able to sit back with rifles, pistols, etc., if you have enough ammo, you're not taking any damage at all. So it'll be very important for players to go and craft their ammo at the Arsenal.
And you'll be able to slot your characters at these as well, correct?
That's right. And I saw some questions kind of regarding that coming up the last couple of days. The rarity of your character is always just the higher the rarity of the character, the better the effect that they're going to have. And any character can be slotted on an Arsenal or any crafting station, and they will have different effects. Some of them may just end up applying a generic effect that just gets from a hero. And then ones that, like an example that we've mentioned is Eugene, because he specifically has the characteristic of boosting ammo because of his role in the show. So certain characters will boost certain things. If there's a character like Sasha who used a sniper rifle a lot, if she's put at the Arsenal, then you'd probably have better quality crafting for things like a sniper rifle or any rifles. So all the characters will play in, we've got to set all these details so that they're not set in stone yet or anything, but we'll figure them all out, and we'll voice those to the community as we do.
Good answer. Thank you for the question, Half Sky, and also thank you to Freddie, who's running the stream for us today. Thanks, Freddie, for being in the background. So on the topic of characters, since we have our character concept artist here, I was thinking we could toss up a few of our images. We're 10 minutes in here. Let's see some art, Freddie, and have Kevin talk a bit about what we're seeing. I'm putting me on the spot.
Uh-oh. I'm actually not seeing the screen, sorry. But
yeah. Oh yeah, the first one they're seeing is Daryl.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I guess I'd say basically, my takeaway is like there's a lot of Walking Dead games that kind of embrace like the more like photorealistic, kind of gritty style. And we wanted to do something that's a bit more like stylized and fun. I mean, it still like retains, I guess, like kind of the gore and like the general vibes of the show, but just something that's like, helps us stand out a bit. So I think Daryl's like a good example of that. We did the concept for him. It like captures his, essence. I think he'd say, he has like the crossbow and all that stuff, but it just has like a different, spin on him, basically.
Let's go to the next slide there, Freddie.
Gotta help me out. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you what we're seeing when I see it here.
Just guess. Which one do you think it is?
Oh, this is
Yeah, we are on the large woman walker.
Oh, Susan. Yeah.
Susan, there you guys gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our concept artist, our internal concept artist, Valerio, did some really awesome concepts for the walkers, and some of them are pretty interesting. I don't really know what to say about her, actually. I feel like the imagery kind of speaks for itself, but she's definitely like a more heavy set walker rig. So we just want to have like a lot of fun with her, and like exaggerate the expressions, and while still having like the gore and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of our characters currently are all kind of sharing the same AI behavior, just kind of your standard, walker, move towards things, break stuff. They really hate walls is is apparently in their AI currently. And this is, you'll start to see some of these coming online, and we're hoping to get some walker AI variety and character variety in the next demo that we do. So that's kind of a good view of that. Let's do one more, and then we'll go back to some questions. Oh, Brandon, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say about Susan here. Paul, do you think it might take a few more shots to bring Susan down than the typical walker?
Yeah, that's something that we're really hoping to see for December is, so right now we wanted to start combat as simple as possible. And we kind of see like what we're calling our tier 0 walker in there now. And they're good at hoarding, but they're not great at much else. So we've been playing a lot of survival games lately, and if you played any other traditional MMOs, there's a lot of avoidance mechanics, and we're looking to bake those into walkers where it makes sense, and it's themed well and aligned with what we see in the show, all to kind of create a platform for players to be able to master approaching combat and really make their skill choices, their weapon loadouts, what food they decided to bring, all the preparation they've done up to that moment kind of matter and have some variance across different combats. So to answer your question, yes, we would like to see, and we're developing a bunch of different attributes and behaviors and avoidable mechanics that we're hoping to share more of in December. You'll probably see it a little bit simpler first, and then as we move on, we'll start to see, some kind of boss combat patterns coming to life with a lot of these walkers. So really excited to breathe life into these awesome models.
Okay, let's do one more image, and then we'll take some more live questions here. So next image, Freddie.
Negan, you said?
Yep, there he is. Negan is on the screen.
All right. I don't know what else to say about him, honestly. I mean, like, it's kind of the same thing as Daryl, where it's like we want to capture the personality, and give him some more character, but like try to do our own spin on it, So yeah, Negan's Negan. Not much else to say there, really.
Also, I've heard your favorite character from the show.
Yes, yeah, but hopefully, well, I don't know if it's like an unpopular opinion nowadays, but yeah, I just really liked his character arc. I feel like, I don't want to go into like spoilers, but like you really hate him up front, and then as the show progresses, you kind of learn to like see eye to eye with him, so to speak. So he was a very interesting character, I thought.
Yeah, and then you actually concepted that one for Negan, correctly?
That was my with the grin. Yeah, that was my first character since starting on this project. So
yeah, it's awesome. Very cool. Okay, we had a couple of questions that came in while tossing stuff, and definitely feel free to ask any of us directly in the Discord, the TWD discussion, Tweety discussion. on our Gala Games Discord, and you can chat with us there. We're keeping an eye on it. Kool-Aid asked, will it be possible to use a Xbox or other controller in the test or future test? So just the answer to that one is we are trying to make this as good of an experience on PC as possible currently. So the option is there for the future, but for anybody who has developed games in the audience that's watching, it is very difficult to get a nice control scheme for a game and build the UI around it and to make everything work. And then it's pretty much twice as hard to then add another control scheme to it. So we've done it in the past with other games we've made, and generally if you kind of wait towards the end and just keep it in mind, it'll be a lot faster development and a lot less pain, because everybody hates it when you add a new menu and no longer works for the controller. So we're not ruling it out in the future, but right now the click to move and just focusing on the accessibility is what we're going for. So let's go over here to so thank you for that question and tossing it in there. I guess another question on the arsenal that's on sale right now. Smilin' Monster asked Brandon, I guess I'll ask Brandon, is there going to be an uncommon forge or a common forge and arsenal on the store?
We're not planning on having a common or uncommon. So we put all the ones on the store that are planned. There may be somewhere on the map a public common version where anyone could go and craft. But we're not planning on selling common or uncommon NFTs for the Arsenal and Forge.
Okay, here's another question from Brandow91. They would like to ask if we're going to have RPG elements like character levels, etc. So I think I'll start with Paul, and then Brandon can probably chime in on this one. So character levels and RPG traits.
Yeah. So currently, if you're playing the demo, which you all should be, it's fun. You'll see you're leveling up, and you're seeing VFX play, and we're kind of toasting you and healing you when you're leveling up. And that's kind of just the early idea that yes, we do want levels in the game. What exactly those levels allow you to do, what they unlock, how they improve your character, we're still working on that. But the idea of having RPG tropes in our survival MMO is definitely something that we've all kind of embraced. And I think as we move forward and you start seeing maybe gear drops from dungeons, that you will have kind of a nice mix of stats and builds to play with as you perfect your loadout, craft whatever you can, and kind of head into combat with a certain plan in mind that you can master.
Yeah, for sure. The only reason it's not there right now is we just haven't had time to flesh it out and add it. It will definitely be there.
Yeah, a lot of these stats actually exist under the hood right now. They're just kind of, they just live on the weapons themselves or in other areas. They just haven't really been exposed to the UI and to items yet. So definitely going to get there, and really excited to see what sort of builds players come up with, because y'all will always be smarter than we will.
Okay, let's next question here. We'll go to Brandon. Will we be able to loan or rent out extra characters at launch to friends or others?
Yeah, you will be able to. We're planning on having a leasing system. So as a lot of you probably know, one of the character NFTs that you have, you'll be able to use as your avatar. So if I had Rick, I could run around the world as Rick. And if I have other ones that I'm not using, or that I want someone else to work on leveling up for me, I can loan them out. Could be for a fee, or it could be for free, because if it's for free, then someone's more likely to go for it. And all the XP that they're earning for that character level will be sticking with your NFT. So they're essentially performing some work for you to level it up, and they're getting the benefit of getting to use the character.
Okay, let's go to the next question. Kind of can lead into a few here. The question is the main currency going to be Gala? My guess is that's a question for like the in-game currency, so we can quickly answer and say no, and then you can elaborate more on dead coin and what that is, Brandon.
Yeah, so dead coin is going to be the primary currency in the game. We also have an in-game currency that is called cash, and this will just it won't be crypto, it'll just be in-game. and dead coin and cash will circulate around. There will also be a concept of renown, which is kind of like earning points based on actions you do in the world. And all these three will play together to kind of function as the economy flowing in the game. You'll use cash to buy items from each other in marketplaces, and you will earn dead coin by outperforming other players.
Yes, and that's kind of rolls into another question we've got is when is the light paper? So we are working on it. We have something kind of typed up. We are waiting right now to kind of see how things progress with a few other titles internally, and as we have more conversations, we're learning and trying to figure out how to best make this economy balanced and workable for the long run, because we want something that's sustainable, that we have all the right tweaks to make sure that we can make the economy move up, move down, and just kind of stay in balance and harmony as the game is live. We can take our best guesses, but we definitely need tests like we're doing, today to help us know. And as we do more demos with the community, that'll help us hone in on that as well. So stay tuned. We'll most likely be putting something out on a blog or our website in the coming months, but that's our current plan. Yeah. I like some pictures coming in of Negan in the from the Sky God on Discord there. He also must be a fan, Kevin. Let's see, let's go to the next question here. Paul, how do you plan to get the balance right to reward those who invest more into the game and still make this a fun experience for everyone, including those who are free to play? This is particularly the case for the PvP element of the game. We don't want the big boys constantly picking on the smaller settlements and prevent them from growing and having a good time.
Yeah, that's a good question. So there's a bit of a balancing act here. One, you want invested players who have kind of mastered the game and who are in the know and have invested a lot of time and energy to be more powerful than other players who have not. But at the same time, you want players who might not have the same time investment or the same capabilities or same abilities to still have fun. Right now for PvP, if we were to just turn it on, which we can, and we do PvP internally, but if we were to just turn it on, to me, we're missing a couple key components. So one thing I really want to see come in is, some mobility skills. We didn't have time to get those in for the demo, but once we get some mobility skills and then some kind of skills that you can counter other players with, such as defensive abilities, I think that a more skilled player will be able to outplay another player. And currently with what we have in the demo, that's not entirely possible. You can go up to another player and kill them if you wish, and there's not a whole lot they can say about it right now. So I think that that's kind of like the first step for me, is get these rock, paper, scissors elements in play, and that will make the PvP more fun. And then from there, if we really have to, we can do things that a lot of other games of this type do, where they baseline health and some stats like that to make sure that the playing field is somewhat even, but there's still an improvement with your gear and what you have over another player. So I think for me that would be kind of a last ditch effort to take that heavy-handed approach and actually gate stats. But first we want to put in the rock, paper, scissors and then see how it plays from there. And then we'll continue listening to your feedback and make adjustments.
Good answer. Anything to add, Brandon?
Yeah, I was just going to say on a more macro level that, a player who's stacked up with NFTs may have easier access, or, things may be easier for them to accomplish something, but any free-to-play player will have the same ability to accomplish things. They're just going to probably have to work harder to do it. So kind of just like real life, some people are just set in a better position to start out with. But anyone in the game will still be able to accomplish the same goals or win battles, etc.
Okay, let's do a couple more questions, then we'll show some more art and talk through that. So the next question is a live question from the Discord. Make sure to go to the Gala Games Discord, Tweety/discussion. We are taking live questions in there. So this one is from Jokanot. Will there be loading screens between zones in the final release? For example, if you own a rare and an uncommon plot next to each other, do you have to go through a loading screen every time you walk back and forth? Right now, there will be most likely loading screens between everything. We have not done any optimization on that time currently, so that it is a long load and something that we definitely want to work towards improving in the future. But yes, right now, like being a huge world, it'd be very hard to have all the assets in memory all the time. If you're a game developer, you know some of those challenges. And to make as big of a world as we want, there's definitely loading zones somewhere. We're still playing with final, zone sizes and stuff like that, so that's subject to change. But the loading speed should also be a lot quicker in between. So the answer is yes. Then let me go over here. So here's a question, Brandon. If I get multiple dead claims at different levels, can I have my land picked near each other?
Yeah, once we do the land rush, you'll be able to, depending on the structure of it, you'll be able to pick them next to each other. If there's an order and for some reason your two picks are separated and everybody picks all the spots around you because you're super popular, then I suppose you may not actually get them next to each other. But it sounds totally reasonable that you would end up with ones next to each other.
And then one more question, and then I want to go to some pictures here. So let's do this one. Old Man Deputy asks, any chance for heroes from spin-offs such as Fear the Walking Dead down the road? So right now we have a bunch of character licenses that we're able to use, and they are all from the original mainline Prime series. There's nothing stopping us from kind of pulling in others down the road as well. So those are just discussions that we get to have with fans of the show and fans of our game. So if you're really into certain characters, let us know, and that's something that we can use for future discussions. But yeah, we got a lot of characters already in our original card packs that we dropped. 15 different characters from the show, including some of your favorites, Rick and Michonne, and Negan is also in that pack as well, right? See there? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites. Eugene is my favorite. And then Maggie a close second. But yeah, I can dual wield ice cream cones any day of the week.
Why is Eugene your favorite? Just out of curiosity.
Out of curiosity, I just love his persistence and his basically how he's able to survive by just kind of adapting to the situation.
Right.
And also, the way that he is able to bend the situation. He's a pretty quick thinker overall, and he can kind of bend situations, except he's also a little dopey, and I like that too. So
Yeah, I think some of his zany antics, carrying around jars of pickles or having weird radio handles like Taterbug, just has endeared him to us.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's I don't usually cheer for the most straightforward heroes in shows or movies, so I think Eugene just scratches the right itch for me. And then there's Maggie, who is a little bit more straightforward. She's kind of she's not the Rick or the Michonne, but she's awesome. So
Yeah.
yep. Okay, Freddie, let's toss up some more images, and we'll let Kevin chat through some of them.
I was actually thinking that maybe we should model Eugene's ice cream cones.
It's what the people want.
Yeah.
Throw it in there.
Okay, it looks like we have our original character with the yellow jumpsuit up on the screen.
Oh yeah. So I mean, I guess the general goal with the original characters is like to try to create something that's unique and interesting and can like stand on its own, but can also like stand next to like the fan favorite characters from the show, and also feel like they exist in the world. So nothing too crazy, like nothing too toy or comic book like. So that's an example of a character that's just recently been concepted, I think. So we'll start modeling her soon.
Do you ever think of backstories for the characters while you're working on them?
I actually have been leaving that up to Mako. He has like the whole document with all the character descriptions and whatnot. I think, for example, like I didn't know Joy was a mountaineer or something at some point, but yeah, some of the characters have some pretty interesting backstory. Should probably get him on here sometime to explain some of these things.
Yeah, Mako is our designer who has been in charge of naming these characters. So those of you who participated on Discord in that guess their names contest, you can thank or ridicule Mako.
Okay, let's go to the next image. We are now staring down the barrel of Rick's gun.
Oh, right on. So Rick is, I think, one of the first characters that got modeled. He's actually before my time, but he still, holds up. So we've been kind of using him as I guess you'd say like a template for the style, try to match like that style and that quality. But yeah, he's being used in a lot of like promotional materials because he's pretty good, and the likeness is pretty good as well.
Yeah, Rick is just extremely iconic and has been awesome to have early on to really set the bar for us.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right, let's go
hat.
to
His hat's somewhere. I don't know where his hat is.
we do have a hat.
Carl's
It
head.
doesn't really match this this outfit for him, so it doesn't make a ton of
Yeah,
sense for him to have the hat on. But it is an iconic hat, yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
I believe Carl's got it on though. So once you guys have visibility on him, then you'll see the hat.
We do have a Carl model coming soon. Yep. Let's go to the last image, Freddie.
Zombie Bride, yeah. So we have a bunch of walkers that we're creating that are kind of like more generic. So if you see like a big horde, like none of them will pop too much. But we definitely wanted to have some walkers that are like iconic, and have like, leave a lasting memory or whatever. And yeah, we requested this concept, and I think she looks awesome.
Yeah, someone in Discord had made a suggestion a week or so ago, that when you go in a certain area of the world, like maybe near a hospital, that you'd see doctors or nurses in scrubs and stuff like that.
Sure.
Do you want to talk about that at all?
Oh, me?
I can talk about it. But
I mean, it sounds like a great idea to me. It makes perfect sense for
All
sure.
right.
Yeah.
Kevin likes it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that is totally something that we're looking to do, and that's kind of why we have some of these more unique ones, like the one you're apparently seeing that's dressed in a wedding dress. I don't know if we're gonna have a chapel or something that she would appear near, but yeah, we want the walkers that you're seeing to kind of reflect the environment that they're appearing in.
Yeah, good point for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely something our lead artist Chris Miller talks about too. Is as he's getting more walkers concept or doing stuff, he kind of spins those stories as to what they're doing and likes to talk about the sort of environment they could be found in, which is fun. So let's see here. I have some more questions coming in. I just lost my place. Lot to do as the conductor here. For the final release, will players only be able to place owned crafting station NFTs on their current home base, or will they be able to place them in another or several owned land plots in order to benefit not only the Alliance members, but the Empire members as well? That was a question from Jokonot on the Discord. Brandon, you want to take that one?
Yeah, so if you own land, then you will be able to place the crafting station on there. You will be able to place it on other land, but you would need to get their permission first. If nobody has built their HQ or claimed land, whether it's owned or not sold yet, you could place it there because there's no one to tell you no. But you can't just go stick a crafting station right next to someone else's base without their permission. But they will be able to be placed anywhere throughout the world on anybody's land, as long as they agree to it.
Another question coming in on the Discord. Kegi Jan, will there be an extra day? He's very excited about playing the game and wants an extra day. unfortunately, we are doing just the 48 hours. We are stoked to hear that people really love the demo and want to play it more. This has been, there's a lot of things that we've learned from this. Lots and lots of bases have been made, lots of walkers have been slayed, and it's it's a lot of effort to keep something like this up and running, and for us to keep it live and also make forward progress on the game. It's just those two don't go very well hand in hand. So unfortunately, just a taste, 48 hours to play and enjoy the game. If you're an NFT owner and you're logged in and playing and you kill 1,000 walkers, you'll be able to get a Discord badge. If you level up to level 10 with your HQ, you'll be able to get a Discord badge for us. But yeah, I'm really stoked. Like just the amount of time people have been investing into the game right now, really jumping in and playing for as long as people have is just so cool to see. And the stories we've heard in just this, a little over 24 hours it's been live, it's the response has been wonderful, and it's just so cool to get something like this out into their hands. I had the honor of being at the Galaverse in Malta when people first got to get their hands on our demo, and it was really neat to just be present and to see people playing it. And that was, we had 6 stations live, so there's 6 people playing, and this is just a whole different scale to have all of these people running through. The improvements we've made over the last 3 months or so since that demo have just been really great, and so much behind the scenes too to make a game handle this. All of our tech superstars that are just making this server stable, making it so that we can support this many people running around together, combat together, is just a huge task. So it's awesome to see people playing it and loving it, and keep playing it and loving it for the next 24 hours, because it will be coming down tomorrow at noon. Let's see here. So here's a question. Will there be, here's I think a question for Brandon. Will there be power creep over time when introducing newer heroes, workstations, etc.? How are you planning to keep from devaluing older NFTs? So I think we have a good answer for this, Brandon.
Yeah, I mean, I think we want to avoid that kind of power creep. We want to keep a good balance. As more heroes come out, they will kind of fill a different role or give some sort of new aspect to gameplay without just being flat out more powerful than older heroes. We don't want the first release of the heroes to feel like old heroes. They should feel good all the time. So yeah, we're definitely not planning on having a power creep like that.
If I could jump in real quick,
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
something Brandon had mentioned earlier with what makes Eugene unique in the show. We kind of go theme first. So what do you have to do in order to be good to survive in the world? So not everyone is just good at combat. So there's people that are good at building or gathering or scavenging, and then combat as well. So we're always thinking about theme first and then jumping off there when we're designing a lot of things, not just heroes. So.
And I feel like we use Eugene as the example all the time. So I will try to use other examples. Like Glenn is a really good scavenger. That's kind of the role he played in his group in the beginning. So, if you have Glenn slotted to your party, you may be getting extra odds of finding things in vehicles that you're searching or garbage cans or whatever.
Yeah. Johnny Boy question on the Discord. Reminder, hop on to our Gala Games Discord and then Tweety-discussion. You can ask questions and we are camping in there and reading them, so trying to answer them. Johnny Boy asks, will playtesters get rewarded like Miranda's did? In this one, your rewards are the Discord badges. So kill the 1,000 walkers. If you have to own an NFT to start, and then once you play the game, if you kill 1,000 walkers or get your HQ to level 10, you'll be getting your reward. In the future demos that could change, but we'll see. Those are your rewards for this one. Kind of a little carrot out there for everybody to stress the systems and test it out and have fun playing.
And the fun that you get from playing. That's also
And the
really
fun,
cool.
that's a huge
Yeah.
reward. Yeah. No, that's I mean, there's just something to it. Like we do play tests every Thursday as a team, getting in there and just making sure our systems are working, having discussions around it. And we definitely go the full time lately. You will fill up that full time slot and keep building up our bases and chopping stuff up, and you just get lost in the loops. And that's really, it's cool to see other people doing that too. Lots of good feedback coming in on the Discord. Let's toss this question over to Paul. Paul, will there be defensible structures or traps like spike fencing, etc., to damage zombies and help protect the base while scavenging, being offline, etc.?
Yeah, good question. I think I've been reading a lot of the feedback in Discord, and there's a lot of chatter over what happens to my base when I'm offline. And what we're trying to do is strike a balance between making the world feel volatile, like you see in the show, and like you've seen in other survival games. If you go out and have dinner with your family for the night, you come back and your level 10 HQ is squished. That's not fun, even though it probably conveys the theme of the show well. So we're trying to make sure that we strike a balance between the two. Defenses are a very common trope in the show, and we have already got some little walls that you can build right now. And without going too far into tower defense, I imagine we'll get more of those concepted and placed into the game. This could tie into how good you are at building a base. If you come across a base that's not constructed very soundly and the defenses are placed poorly, it could probably fall faster than another base. So I do imagine us having these. I don't think we'll go so far as to become a tower defense game. We want you in combat with walkers using our weapon skills and leaning into your RPG stats and kind of making a full combat experience. So I don't think that we'd go that far, but hopefully that helps answer the question.
Good answer. We've got Old Man Deputy is digging the art style, would love to see what Morgan looks like. So maybe next time tune in. We'll be doing more of these AMAs. Toss some more art up there as well. It's great to have, and we still got 15 minutes or so left here too, but I'll thank everybody for being here. Brandon, Paul, and Kevin. It's cool. This is Paul and Kevin's first time engaging with the community on an AMA. So it's so cool to have you guys on here. If anybody on the Discord is asking more questions, Paul will help out with combat and design questions, and Kevin is your character art questions. So toss them their way. We've got about 15 minutes left. And then we have a question here, joking out another question about the crafting stations. Brandon, probably for you. Can fellow Empire members come over to your home base and use your crafting station NFT, or do they need a crafting station placed in their own current home base in order to use it?
They'll absolutely be able to use yours as long as you let them. The choice is yours of where you put your crafting station. You can put it behind your walls, and then people won't be able to get to it. But it'll be more beneficial to you to put it out where everyone can use it. Well, I guess that choice is kind of up to you if you think it's more beneficial. If you want to be the only one who's crafting the weapons in the area, you could wall it off and then just try to sell the weapons. Or you can let anyone use it, and then you're benefiting by everyone. You'll be earning renown for everyone who's coming and using your station.
Okay.
On top of that, we're also planning on some aspects of being able to control the fees for allowing other people to use it, where if it's someone who's part of your empire, there could be no fee. But if it's someone who's part of a different empire, whether they're your enemy or just a neutral empire, there may be a fee involved for them to use your station. And then you can compete with other nearby crafting stations to, bring in the customers with your lower fees.
Okay, good answers. The JP Arcade asks, will there be any benefits to Vox Walking Dead owners? So we do have, I think we have a blog out about that as well. But yes, there will be some benefits. You'll probably find out more about that next year in the future as we kind of look towards that. That's going to take a while for us to get to, but there will be buffs that when you place your Vox on a shelf within your base that you'll be able to get. We have a buff system that Brand, I'm trying to think if Paul knows enough about the buff system. That's another designer that's kind of worked on the furniture upgrade system. So maybe Brandon wants to take that one and just kind of explain, since people can place furniture in their base right now, but probably notice that it doesn't do anything other than look cool, which is its own reward. But Brandon, yeah, you want to talk about the buff system and then kind of how the Vox would tie into that a little bit?
Yeah, so you may have noticed if you've been playing the demo, there's beds and nightstands and weapon lockers and all kinds of things that you could put in your base that aren't really doing anything besides looking cool. The idea behind these is that the bed specifically would be kind of a respawn point, so you'd be able to choose where in your base you're respawning, especially when you're sharing a base with up to 50 other players. You may want to carve out your own little bedroom or something, or create a big hall full of beds where you all respawn. But then the other aspects, the different things that you can build and add to your base, will provide different buffs. We've concepted out things like even having a toilet that adds comfort, because you're able to use a real bathroom. And then when you respawn or when you choose to go to your bed and sleep, you will gain the buffs that you get from the comfort level or specific. Maybe a toilet gives you extra strength for some reason. And you'd have those buffs for a certain amount of time. And then you go out and play with them.
Okay, so we have another question on doors. Half Sky on the Discord asked, will there be doors that you can lock or are only available by permission? So Paul, do you want to talk about doors?
Yeah, I think we want the base to feel somewhat volatile. I actually saw a suggestion in the channel earlier of maybe you just lose a little bit of your HQ level if you get attacked. I think that having a door lock, having it opens up a lot of difficulties with having walkers that have the AI and ability to kind of counter lock doors. I think that being able to defend a choke point of a locked door sounds like fun. There's a lot of questions that we have to answer about in terms of who in your alliance can unlock and lock that, and what's the specific combat benefit of it? Are you creating a choke point, or is it just kind of defeating the difficulty defending a base? So definitely not something we just want to make sure that it's easy to understand, and then it's adding to the gameplay loop instead of kind of flattening it.
And so similarly, we've talked about having locks on things like chests, where you'd be able to have a chest that only members of your alliance could get access to, or maybe even only specific ranks within your alliance, so you can more safely store things. I set up some weapon lockers in the game and put some weapons in them, and it took about 20 seconds for someone to walk by and take all my weapons out.
Here's a question for Paul from Call Me Peterson. Are there plans to be able to use walkers as defense from other players in the future, similar to how they do on the show?
Something we've talked about a bit is, so right now it's not in, but we like the idea of sound playing a part in the game world. So if you're familiar with the Whisperers, they kind of manipulate walker flesh to be more stealthy through the world. Kind of in a similar vein to what Brandon was touching on with Glenn earlier, with terms of him being good at scavenging and stealthy. We might be able to lean into some of those tropes in terms of sound detection and kind of wearing flesh in a way a Whisperer might to avoid aggroing a nearby walker. So that we're thinking of some cool ideas like that. In terms of actually picking one up with your arm and using it as a shield, we might not be strong enough to do that, but
We're losing
we would
you,
have
Paul.
shields playing in season 6, I believe.
Yeah, and
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. In the
Okay.
demo, you can kind of see the very beginnings of the sound when you're upgrading your HQ. The reason all those walkers are coming to attack is the idea. You're like running a generator and you're making a lot of sound in that upgrade process, and that's why they're all appearing, coming for you.
Okay. Migri19 asked, will there be fog of war weather changes as well? Brandon, you want to
I think we all agree that weather changes would be really cool, but that's definitely something that we're kind of punting down the road. And Fog of War we're planning on having that exist for your base. So if you've walled off your base and an enemy walks into your plot, they won't be able to see what you have going on in all the different rooms of your base until they get inside, if they manage to get inside. So in that aspect, yeah, there's some Fog of War.
Yeah, and to elaborate a bit too, with it's difficult to nail the look of something. Kind of goes back to the controller thing too. Is like just getting the lighting right and getting the world to feel well in a single lighting is pretty tricky. But we do want to have some time of day stuff going on, where as you walk through the world, you can see the shadows shifting or something like that, where it feels just a bit more dynamic. So those are things that we've talked about, and we're looking into. So most likely in a future demo, you'll be able to see some of that, and then that kind of ties into some things to look forward to for the next demo out too. One of the questions was, when will we be able to get our hands on another demo, and when can people on a Mac play the game? So we are shooting for winter for our next demo, so that's kind of vague right now, but we were vague with summer too, and summer came and you got a demo. so winter is the next timeline currently. As we go along, we'll nail down a date, we'll message the community, and we want you all to play again. And in that demo, we should have some more cool things, like the beginning of our dungeon system, the beginning of being able to go into loot buildings. So those are some of the things that we'll be working on to bring forward, as well as the larger land. Probably the very beginnings of the alliance system, with playing together with your friends on a piece of land and teaming up on a HQ rather than everybody having their own HQ. So those are a few of the things subject to change, but that we're looking into to make the next experience even better. So lots of cool stuff. We got the structure of something really cool in your hands these last couple of days, and now we get to build off of it and keep sharing with everyone. So let's go to the next question here. I'll let anybody take this. Do you think there is any risk of outgrowing the story / runaway of the TV series, or do you plan on taking the lore and story and growing it out in your own direction? I see this mostly applying to location, maybe development of additional tools, etc. That was from JP Arcade. So anybody want to take that? Don't all jump at once. Brandon, take it.
Yeah,
Brandon looks like
I was
he can
leaving it
answer it.
open there for a moment in case anyone wanted to jump in, but yeah, it's a good question. I'm not sure how much we will kind of run with the story of the characters. Like, they have a lot of the characters from the show obviously have a ton of story behind them, and we're trying to kind of encapsulate that story and those arcs into the characters. The ones that are the characters that we're creating, I could see us producing more content for their story. I'm not sure how exactly we incorporate that in, but I mean, we're not going to take these stories from the characters from the show and kind of extend them beyond the show. That's not really our place to continue Rick's story or Michonne or anything like that.
I'm not sure if it's 100% related, but like we definitely do have like some plans for like if you have like Carl, like different kinds of Carl like throughout the show, so different outfits, and yeah, but yeah, like you said, like, we can't really like make stuff up.
Yeah, some of the heroes that
So
you'll be
we
able to
have
get will be at different points in character arcs. So like Kevin's favorite character, Negan. There's like evil Negan, and then there's like redeemed Negan, and they'll look different and they'll behave different and they'll have different attributes.
Okay, we have a little bit more time here, a few more questions. If you tossed in the Discord, there's a chance I might get to it now. So let's go to this one. Jokenaut asks, will looting buildings feel as scary and be as risky and rewarding as in the show? And then I'm just going to toss a couple of questions here. Wow, everybody's just going now. Smiling Monsters also asked, could you talk briefly about player battlegrounds? And Half Sky said, will there be zombie heroes? Those are like 3 quick rapid fire questions. So Paul, will looting buildings feel as scary as they are in the show?
Yes.
There you go.
So right now we have Herschel's farm, right? I imagine if you defend a big wave of walkers from there, you're going to have a trove in there. As Brandon was touching on earlier, we want the loot and drops to be thematic and matching, in addition to the creatures that are spawned and placed around these buildings. So yes, as you get to the best loot in the game, you can expect a formidable challenge, and you never know what you're going to get around each corner. So that's definitely on our radar.
And
Yeah,
as
and
far as the
the-
battlegrounds, that's going to be a point on the map that promotes PvP and draws in battles to that place. But that sort of battle or PvP action could happen mostly anywhere in the world. And so, I mean, that's kind of the idea, I guess, that we're ready to present about battlegrounds at this time is just, it's kind of a focused, scheduled, intentional place for battle. And the more details on that mechanic and stuff, we're gonna have to flesh out more. And then when we've decided on something that is what we want to present, then we'll give you more details.
Yeah, our efforts are definitely rallied around making a very solid, engaging PvE experience right now, teaming up with others and playing in that aspect. The PvP is something that the details will most likely be coming sometime next year as we, once we really nail the loops around the PvE content. So, but there's a lot of really cool PvP stuff that, we've tossed ideas around that we want to make happen. It's just, you got to take step by step.
And a lot of these people are excited to start attacking each other.
Yeah, absolutely. First thing people would try at Galaverse is like, how do I attack this other person? Well, first they would get excited that there's another person playing, and then they would want to attack them. Half Scott's question, will there be zombie heroes? The walker is, I think, the appropriate term that they mean to be using there, but no, right now the characters, since you can slot them and do stuff within your bases, we would want them to be the human characters from the show so they can perform the actions for you within your base. Man, there's a bunch of stuff that just came on my Discord, but I think we need to wrap stuff up here. So I'm going to go through closing remarks one by one with you, and if there's one more question that I like, I'll ask that. But Kevin, closing remarks, anything you want to say?
What you've seen, those 6 or 7 images is a very small portion of what we have. There's a huge amount of content coming in, and it's coming in more and more rapidly. So look forward to that.
Paul, final thoughts and comments.
Love reading all the feedback and the excitement around the game in Discord. Please keep it coming. That's how we make it a better experience for you. And I'm really personally excited to get some boss combats and dungeons in. So I can't wait to share that with you all.
Brandon, final thoughts.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's playing the demo. Getting so many players in there and crowding our world and pushing everything to the limit has revealed a lot of stuff to us that we need to fix. And it's also shown us that a lot of things work really well. We had so many people in there all active at the same time, basically filling the entire world, and it's still running pretty smoothly for how early on in development it is.
Yes, and thank you so much. You do have until noon tomorrow to play that demo. The Arsenal is on sale now in the Gala Games store, so check that out as well. Get that, and you'll be able to make ranged items in the future. So yeah, thank you so much for having us. One last question, which is I think my favorite question I saw come in on the Discord. Half Sky asked, between Zach and Brandon, who has the better jump shot? Brandon, would you like to answer this one?
I'm gonna go with Zach.
Zach's avatar on our Slack is a professional basketball player. I'm not sure who it is, but I would imagine it would be Zach.
Thank you, Freddie, for having us, and yeah, thank you for everybody for asking your questions. We'll see you soon at another AMA.